Attention!
I have an announcement that I need to make. Yours truly is going to be participating in the prestigious MCC, the Minecraft Championship. This is a Minecraft minigames competition run by Nox Crew and S Major, and it's taking place on the 4th of May on Twitch. You can find a link to my Twitch channel in the description box down below. I'd recommend you come over and hit the follow button. And if you click here on schedule, you'll see the event is in my timeline here. And what's really cool is that Twitch will translate that to your time zone. So if you want to catch the event, you can come here. You can see when it is in your time zone. And I am going to be on Team Green Geckos, along with Fire Breath Man and two of our fellow hermits, Smallish Beans and Good Times with Scar. And I've just come back to the game, and I've been blown up by a creeper. Anyways, follow my channel on Twitch, and I will see you on the weekend for the Minecraft Championship. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Hermitcraft, and I've been doing some building, extending the promenade that we're walking down here, and it's been one of those sorts of projects where I haven't really felt like recording little clips updating you as I go along. So like, here's the finished product. We've got the base of our temple for storage in place, and I'm working on the area around the front here. And I think it's looking pretty gorgeous. It's got a long way to go though. There are lots of details and quirks you might be able to spot, but the overall vibe is really, really nice, especially this part right here. I love how this looks. And at the end down here, we're going to build a little bridge leading into Ren's area. Is that like a spoiler wall? I don't know why this bit is made out of dirt, but you can see that Ren has some plans for walls in his area, and it kind of lines up with this bit here. So I thought it'd be cool in the future to have a little connection. And then round the side of this island, we're going to go for the overgrown stuff again. Anyways, there's a long way to go. I'll keep chipping away at the building and keep you informed when the time is right. For now, though, I wanted to follow up on what we did in the End Dimension an episode or two ago, with gathering wither roses. I had loads of great feedback and ideas in the comments, and I've been building a farm that I think is going to be pretty interesting, but I was short on one thing, and that is the wither skulls to actually spawn another wither. As you can see, we've now taken care of that problem. But I did not do this by visiting the farm that we had used in previous episodes. I don't know what was up with it, but when I went here today, nothing was spawning inside of this farm. It was really, really strange. But fortunately, my fellow hermit Ren was online and was kind enough to let me use his wither skeleton farm. So we traversed across the nether roof to get here. It has quite a dramatic entrance, but as soon as you get into the farm, the wither skeletons just start spawning. They get lured into the middle by iron golems, which we'll see in a bit. And straight away, I was slashing at these skeletons and picking up some skulls. Now, what's really impressive about this farm is the perimeter around it. You need to stop other mobs from spawning, and Ren did this by placing over 60,000 buttons. So everywhere where a mob could spawn, there's now a button instead. So looking at the inside of the farm, you can see that the wither skeletons will spawn here, and only then because of the wither roses, and the iron golem in the middle simply lures them into a trap which drops them down below to where we kill them. It's a great farm that gets the job done, but what I like most is that Ren designed this himself. As someone who doesn't normally build these kind of technical farms, it was really cool to see him give it a go. You see, me and him were having a little chat about how these sort of super over-the-top farms with incredible efficiencies tend to cause a lot of us to shy away from actually taking attempts at farms where sometimes, you know, they just need to get the job done, and that's actually quite achievable. And so I spent about 5 minutes at Ren's farm killing those wither skeletons. 30 skulls is pretty darn good for that. When we will get to summoning the wither and continuing with our adventures in the end, I am not sure. The next thing that I want to show you is some redstoning that I've been doing down here, but I am absolutely going to need to shut this thing off. Because it is so loud, it made such a racket. And what's going on here? Wow, it's actually produced so much of that moss that this can't keep up with it. That is actually not how it's supposed to work. Wow, that immediately filled up my inventory. These composters are supposed to easily handle the amount of moss and seeds and other items coming in, and I've never seen it back up like that before. It is so strange. Distractions aside, that's not what we're here to talk about. The project that we have here with the flowers turning into dyes has been extended to include cactus. And creating the redstone to fit into a small space that complies with the layout that we got here was really quite fun and challenging. And once again, it's going to fill up with the green dye for this many and then have a full barrel of cactus next to it. So far though, the farm's only been running for a little while. And obviously it needs a cactus farm. So we've got the classic design here, optimized for efficiency. You can see it in action there. So there's a few layers of this, 6 or 7 in total. And they fall down into this water stream, which we feed into some of the redstone at the front here. And the reason it's so far back is because all of this stuff just fits under our crazy moss farm. And here is the small space in which I've managed to shimmy all the necessary things to make this work, even with like overflow considered. And the bamboo is so that we have fuel for smelting. And it's restocking right now because when the fuel goes below a certain threshold, it will create some more. So like the rest of our farms here, it's powered by a bone meal, which is why the farm up top was active, because this thing is consuming it to create the fuel for creating the dye. Now we have a cactus here because if ever this thing fills up with dye and cactus, this hopper right here will back up and be full. So any incoming cactus will simply flow over the top of it and get destroyed on cactus itself. So the first thing that happens is that this hopper here like pinches the cactus and puts it into the furnace. We got the fuel stockpiled on the side, and as you saw, whenever it runs down, this thing kicks into effect and uses some bone meal to grow the bamboo, which we use for fuel. Then the smelted stuff just goes underneath and into this little elevator right here, which isn't working. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. I think it gets like quasi-powered by this block, so probably got to change something there. I've actually already tried a bunch of different things and moved these blocks around in lots of different places, so let's see if that works. That's the wrong spot. If I put items into here, because they come in one at a time. Okay, that looks promising. That looks like we've fixed that issue. Yeah, they're no longer getting stuck and they're making their way up here. And so like we've done before, when we reach a certain signal strength coming out of the barrel, we've got this crafter creating a signal strength of 9 here. So that will then override the output. And it causes us to then lock that hopper, which is the one directly above the furnace. So when we get that certain required amount of dye, we turn off the smelting system. And then the rest of the cactus gets to flow into the storage at the front. It was a pretty cool redstone challenge. Something that's actually not terribly interesting, but putting it into this really small space was, because then you've got to finagle all of the redstone into the little gaps and get it all to work perfectly. So in the future, we can continue with making more dyes from bone meal. So I think the next one I'm probably going to do will be lime dye from sea pickles, and that will go here. And then I got to squeeze it into this space. But that, my friends, is a challenge for another day. I think I might have solved our mystery from a moment ago. When I turn on chunk borders, look at this. If we had loaded everything back there except this chunk, then it would have continuously created moss. And then when this got loaded, it pushed it all over to the front. Sometimes this game is just a little too technical, right? And it's about to get a whole lot worse because I've got chunk loader issues. We could avoid these problems by hooking the redstone up here to a chunk loader, so when this is running, it'll also automatically load these chunks in case someone leaves the area. So if we have a portal in this chunk here, it'll also load the adjacent ones around it, and as you can see, all of our redstone and even the bone meal silo will fit inside of these chunks. So directly below the farm, all the way down here at around Y0, that's where I've built a chunk loader. And this is the one I designed in Season 8, which is a self-correcting chunk loader. It doesn't appear to actually be working in the strangest of ways. I can demonstrate this by throwing glass through like so. If we then hop onto this and go through, we're going to see the glass on the ground in front of us, right? The items went through, but when they're shot through by a dropper, nothing happens. It's like they just vanish into thin air. I had a feeling this would happen. You know, something changes in the middle of the recording. Now the stone blocks are coming through from the portal on the opposite side. You see it flick through for a second, then it goes into the hopper. So one side has randomly fixed itself. Let's go and throw some glass through and then go through the portal. And as you can see, the glass came through to the nether side. But let's just wait here and you can see clearly no stone is coming from the overworld to the nether. And before you comment it, I've been going around with my camera account checking all the other portals above and below in the area. The stone is just absolutely vanishing. So until I figure this out, I'm just going to disable this for now. I think I might try this thing again after the server has been restarted, because it is a real head scratcher as to why it's not working. So at the beginning of this video, I gave you an update on the promenade and the temple. It wasn't really the plan to make more progress, but progress has happened, not only on my side, but on the other side of the river too. We had a little live stream event this weekend with all of the hermits hanging out together on Twitch, and we all ended up just grinding away at some of our projects. So I put in some benches and some lampposts. I'm not really happy with the outcome, but I do very much like this fella over here. And props to Cleo. This was her design, which I completely ripped off. Cleo, I might have to pinch this one here from you. I need more guardians in my temple, and I could totally take this.
It does look really good.
I mean, you can use like I feel like this design is not
finished.
I think like lots of people probably has it, you know? It just seems like a fairly standard thing, so I don't care. You can take it.
Thank you. Ren, what would you call these then? I want to see this man's
call
imagination
this one
work.
something like
This
one with the big shoulders. I'd call this like a mech model hop-A.
A mech model hop-A.
Interesting.
Okay.
Okay, and the spider guy, who's going to have like claws and pincers. It's fine.
He's
fine.
an
Get
artist.
to the
Give him his
hopper.
space.
I'd probably call this thing an arachnamech. Something like that.
Arachnamech.
You know what? I'll take it. I'll take it.
Something like this.
So I have a name for this guy. It is 100% Johnny 5. If you know the reference, you know the reference. I think it's actually the name of the movie, right? It was the wheels at the bottom here. I could just kind of picture there being like some tracks around it and this guy whizzing back and forth. So I wanted to call it Johnny 5. Anyways, what you see here is not complete. It is an iterative process. I'm not really sure if I want to keep the benches with this block palette, as I feel like they blend in a little too much. But anyways, I mentioned the possibility of a bridge over here, and Ren was working on his wall, and we had the opportunity to like collaborate and coordinate, and I came up with this design, which kind of hinges on these chains. So it's supposed to look like it's held across by the chains, and therefore we've got this like little attachment in the middle, and underneath you can see it kind of holds the bridge up. But then when I started adding the glowberry bushes and the rooted dirt, I don't know, maybe a little too much contrast. So it's all an iterative process. Like I am trying to embrace the immersion of living in this area around my base. And so when I feel like, aha, I now know what this needs to change into, I'll come and do that. But as for the main temple here, that's pretty much done and dusted. I love how this thing looks. This one over here, though, I'm still figuring it out, and I've started to put together, like, the next layer. But that's about all I can say for now. Yeah, welcome back to Wall Street. Let's not forget that we have something important to do here. And that is not check for profits, but I've got some. We need to head to the Nether and continue our gold farm project because we need to get quartz for the Wall Street. That's going to be one of the perks of being a wolf on Wall Street, is access to the quartz from this farm, because it's probably going to be a key component in the building up of Wall Street. So let's return to our farm, which is off in this direction beyond the witch farm portal. And since we were last here, I've added a little more redstone underneath. Oh, come on. Yes, we landed on top. Check this out. The output comes over here to a crafter and then to another one. Can you guess what's in that chest? That's right, it's gold blocks, and we got a heck of a lot of them. On the opposite side, the rotted flesh gets dispensed into fire. So I was going to strip this part out because we don't need the gold blocks. We actually want gold ingots from this crafter. But what I'll do is I'll put a hopper underneath this, and then we can turn it on and off. So maybe sometimes I just want to farm gold, and sometimes I want the gold to go to the piglins. The big issue there, though, is we ain't got no piglins. And to be completely blunt, I barely have a plan here. I am pretty much winging this. I didn't even bring any temporary blocks with me. I was so keen to get over here. We need to create a platform that the piglins can spawn on. And the way that we're going to get them to stay in our farm is by giving them gold armor. You see, I don't have any name tags. Kind of occurs to me I don't need probably more than 3 piglins, so this was a bit of a waste. So I have 128 spawning spaces, which will actually compete with the farm here. And I think if I go all the way up to the platform, it might be too high up. So I'm going to have to like linger below it and then hope for some spawns as we drift downwards. And what would you know? Oh, it's a zombie pigman. Wait, zombified piglin. They renamed you. Anyway, this shows that the mobs are able to spawn here, and the slabs are, of course, to stop ghasts from spawning, as they'd give me a right old headache. But right, here we go, dipping down again. Any piglins? Nope, none this time. Whew! I didn't activate my elytra. Dang it, what an idiot! I could have swore I pressed spacebar. I'm sure of it. Oh, we got a few, we got one over here. Hi, let's grab our helmets and give this a try. Okay, are you going to put it on? Come on, put it on, buddy. Put it on your skull. Hey, there we go. So this guy, in theory, shouldn't despawn. Wait, but now you're hostile. Why are you hostile? Man, I'm wearing gold. Look, I'm wearing gold. This might actually be useful. Because, can I trap you now? Oh, dang it, this guy's going to kill me. This is just not as straightforward as I thought it was going to be, is it? Oh, wait. Ah! Dude, these guys wander too much to just block them in. I need a better method. Oh, it's because I'm opening a chest. Ah, that's why you got aggressive. That makes sense. Do you know how much of a pain you've been? Come on. Ugh. Get in the minecart. Yes, I think a minecart is the way to go. Aha. You are now trapped there. Excellent. All right, now our hard work gets to pay off, right? What I don't want to do is capture a piglin that's already got a gold helmet. I think that one can despawn, so I want to make sure that you pick... Well, who picked it up? The other guy, of course. Quickly, Wyatt's distracted. Take that, please. He beat you to it again! What is wrong with you? You're a terrible piglin. Okay. This time you got it. Wonderful. And you put it on. Awesome. Now get in the minecart. What if we try gold boots on this fella? It should work the same way around. I don't know if it'll choose to put them on, though. I love that he stands still, so I can put the rail in now. There we go. Let's jump ahead in time, shall we? Redstone has been constructed, piglins have been moved, and it's kind of dawned on me now that this thing is ready to go. Without a proper storage system, I'm going to start with some chaos and just let it all filter into chests. But this is very much like we did last season, the same setup. So over the back here, we have the same clock hooked up to a bit of redstone, which creates a pulse every so often. The timing is correct so that they will have finished bartering from the previous bit of gold. And like I mentioned earlier, this all starts right here after we craft the golden ingot. So this lever right here will turn off both the clock and then lock the hopper. It's right next to that block. So then instead, it'll just craft more gold blocks. Anyway, we want to get some quartz. So now it's time for an AFK session. Also, a lamp here is a really good reminder that turning the lever on does indeed turn on the bartering. Alright, so now we get to stand up here AFK above the farm. And of course, we use the free cam to check this thing out in action. So we got piglins spawning, creating gold, and then down the bottom here, we can see a little bartering in action already. And you know what? This thing is probably never going to be fast enough to do more than one. But the issue with this setup is that it has to back up first. So it might be flowing in faster than the first one is using. It's been just over 2 hours, and we have got quite a bit of stuff. I'm reminded how much other useful things there are, like crying obsidian and obsidian coming through here. This is obviously quite a few farms in once, but that's as much loot as we got, so let's grab the quartz. And sadly, I think it's fair to say that that is just not good enough. So I need to improve the farm, and I've actually got some ideas on how to do that. And I think it's going to be one of those live stream projects now where I work on it and I'll update you in the future. Of course, that's another great reason to be following me on Twitch. Not only do we have MCC on the weekend, I, work on the Hermitcraft projects. And if you've never come around and checked one of these streams out, I'd highly recommend that you do. A lot of people have a good time there, and I'd love for you to come by and hang out with me. And so if it's a while between this episode and the next episode of Hermitcraft, it's because I'm going to shift my focus to MCC, do a lot of training and practicing, hopefully some practice streams too, and really give this a good go. So yeah, my next episode of Hermitcraft might be a while. As for right now though, I'm going to run the sorter. I've got shulker boxes here to fill up. We've got an absolute ton of junk lying around. So if you enjoyed today's episode, please do leave a like to support the channel. Thank you as always for your support, and I'll be seeing you soon with another episode of Hermitcraft. Bye bye.